I thought the day was good. We got exactly what we needed out of it. I was afraid there'd be nobody show up with all the weather issues, and weather cleared for us and had a beautiful day. In fact, it got hot and humid. We've been inside most of the time, so I thought the guys withstood the weather pretty well. Also, we're a much better team today than we were practice one, so we are improving. We're not near where we need to be. We didn't have enough depth today to do the live kicking game stuff, so that's something that in the fall we have to do, and we'll be a better team this afternoon after the scrimmage than we were this morning, because we had so many guys that were injured on defense that will be playing when we start August 1st. And then you add all the new signees, so we'll have some depth, and we'll just have to use a lot of young guys to create that depth. We've got some on offense. We have absolutely none on defense, and that's a real concern. We got to get in the weight room. We got to get stronger. I really like what Brian Hess is doing, but he didn't have a lot of time. He had about a couple of months, and that's not enough. So guys will work on their studies, get ready for their finals, and Coach Hess will give them a really good, strong summer, because we got to get stronger. We got too many people that pull a hamstring or got a sore ankle, or we got to be a tougher football team mentally and physically. Questions?
Aside from learning
this, do me a favor, identify yourself whenever you're doing questions.
Andrew Jones, Tar Heel Illustrated. Aside from learning schemes, what area of the team grew the most during spring?
Discipline. We learning to have effort on every play, and that'll be something that'll be interesting for us to watch, especially when they got a little bit tired. We had a lot fewer penalties today than we had the first day of practice, and that'll help us win some football games. There were 2 turnovers, one a loose ball with a running back and 1 interception that was probably a sack before he threw the ball. But we've got to force more turnovers on defense. We've really protected the ball real well on offense throughout the spring. So turnovers, discipline, confidence. It's a more confident team today than it was when we started. Been tougher, not getting a sore and coming out. We never want a guy to play when he's injured. He's got to play through some pain, and we've got to learn to do that. And we've got an older team and then a lot younger guys with them. So we've got some good seniors, but a lot of young guys that have to play, and they have to learn to get tougher.
Greg Barnes in South Carolina. Matt, given that this is a process, did you accomplish what you hoped to accomplish during these 15 spring practices?
Yes, Greg. We had no clue who we were when we got here. I've said it a number of times, but the early signing date puts the new head coach in a tough spot. You don't know your team. You really don't know what you've got. You don't know your deficiencies. You know how many scholarships you've got, but how many of those guys can play? It's not your numbers as much as it is guys can play. So they say, well, we're going to take, we got 5 defensive backs, we're going to take 5 more. Well, if 3 of them can't play, you got 2, and 3 guys that can't play. So now we know who we are. Through spring, we know where every player should be, and we'll sit down with them on Monday or next week. Not all on Monday, obviously, and we'll start having an interview with them after spring interview, and we'll be very direct and very honest with them. And we'll tell them, here's what we like, and here are the concerns. Here's where we think you would be right now. We're going to try to tell each one of them how many plays you would play in a game right now, or you wouldn't play, or you're going to get a bunch of plays, so you need to get in shape. And then try to build our board from that standpoint. We still don't know enough about the quarterbacks. I think all 3 of them are good. And you can see today there's some flashes with all 3. This is a difficult offense for the quarterback. It's simple for everybody else, but he's got a lot to do. So we told the quarterbacks, take the pressure off of who's going to start and who's going to play. It doesn't matter. And then in the fall, you'll have all summer to work on the offense. In the fall, we'll start figuring out who gets the ball in the end zone the easiest and the fastest. And I think that's fair for them. Everybody else, we can sit down and say, here's what we like, here are the concerns. Right now you'd play this many plays, and here's why you'd play that many plays. So we know who we are better right now than we did 21 or 20 practices ago. And it's much healthier now. It's miserable when you're not sure who you are. It's just miserable. You know, everybody's saying, well, what about your defense? I said, I don't know. You know, and we can't go back and count last year. You can't, because it's a new staff, it's a new scheme on both sides of the ball. So we really don't hold last year against any player if he didn't play well, and we don't compliment a player last year that played well. They had to start over.
Aaron Beard with the AP. Since you're bringing in quarterbacks, and I know you're going to study the film from all this, how do they handle sort of trying to understand and, during the installation? I imagine there were some good days and bad days, and it could just kind of fluctuate for all three of them.
There were too many interceptions early in the process, Aaron, and I was concerned about it. And I think Coach Longo was right. He said, let them learn the offense. Let them learn what to do. And they'll pull it back in. They were probably trying too hard early, trying to up the other one early, and that's why we said, forget it. Just play. We just want you to play. And we did a smart thing. We took 4 days to put the offense in and then started back over. So the second 4 days of our 8 were to redo everything. So we started from scratch with the second round, and we didn't put anything in that a lot of things unusual we're going to use in the fall. There was no game planning, and I thought the offense handled all the blitzing really well because Jay Bateman's defense blitzes every play. I mean, there's somebody coming every play, and you don't know who they are. And I've never had an offensive staff that went through a spring without griping about how much the defense was blitzing. Coach, we can't even work on our stuff, man. They're blitzing everywhere, and this bunch didn't care. They just said, we're going to run our offense. This is who we are, and it's what we're going to do. So both sides got along really well. And I thought it was really good for our defense to have to see an offense that's got so many different packages within it because there's so much misdirection. There's so many plays that look like sucker plays that it looks like you're running a counter and then you're rolling out the other way and hitting somebody in the flat. So it was really good for our players to see both sides of it. But I think our quarterbacks are in a good place. With the transfer portal, everybody gets mad and leaves now so quickly. We want to give all 3 guys a chance. And I told them I would recruit all 3 of you guys at Texas if I was there. If we had to start over here, I'd do the same thing. I think they're all 3 really good.
Mack Friedlander, North State Journal. Without going into too much specific, what is it about the offense that makes it so difficult for the quarterbacks to learn?
I think because there's it's all of the air raid passing attack that Mike Leach started and Lincoln Riley started, Cliff Kingsbury started many years ago, and we played against it every year at Tech. I had either Mike Leach or Cliff Kingsbury for 15 years. And the only thing I always thought is if they could ever put the power running game of that, it'd be really tough, and that's what they've done. So it's a powerful power running attack with a lot of misdirection and a lot of short passes that they can tag onto a run. And if you like the pass better than the run, you don't even have to change the play. Quarterback does it, and he does it all. So the quarterback's got to have a great grasp of the what's happening with the play, and then he handles the whole thing. And that's where the quarterback has to be really confident. But I really like it. When we started the process, I wanted to hire Lincoln Riley. I couldn't get him. I wanted to hire Cliff Kingsbury. I couldn't get him. They recommended Phil Longo to me, and he's doing exactly what I wanted us to be doing. And I think it's very healthy for us, and the kids like it.
Jonathan Alexander, News and Observer. What are your expectations of Javonte Williams? He seemed to, with Jordan Brown announcing he was transferring, he seems to step up in the depth chart. What are your expectations of him?
I think Javonte Williams is really good. He never speaks. He just says, yes, sir, and that's a good thing. He hadn't even said no, sir. But he can catch, he can run. He's 220 pounds. He's got a low base. He's really fast. And he's made some of the bigger plays this spring that we've had. And he's got the unusual ability to be able to take the ball off tackle and make 4 yards or bounce it outside and make 80. And that's just who he is. I think he's really good.
Mack, Jeremy Vernon, Monroe and Carter Journal. How would you evaluate Sam Howell's performance today and really what he's been able to do over the course of the spring?
What was your name?
Jeremy Vernon.
Jeremy. Jeremy, I thought Sam did really well today. For a freshman to walk out there in front of a crowd, and he's really a high school senior, but he made some throws with a quick release that are really good. In fact, I thought all 3 of them did. That's going to be our issue. We've got 3 that we can win with. And we've told them it's going to be the one that gets the ball in the end zone, but I'm sure glad that Sam's here. We told the guys, you've got to practice so hard that when you go into a game, it's no different. We could even tell today there was a little different edge to them, and some of them were looking around a little bit in pregame and a little bit different. We said, you can't be that way. If you practice to the best of your ability every day, then that's who you are. And that's who we've got to be. It can't be we're better in the games than we are, or we're more anxious in the games than we are in practice. We got to be good every day. And that's what we got to be. Our team motto is be the one. And be the one on fourth down that Coach Longo and I look to run the ball. Be the one on fourth down to be the pass rusher that gets to the sack. Be the one when you're against Virginia Tech, you got 4:23 left, 97 yards to go, that gets the turnover. So we're asking them to tell us what be the one means to them. Yes.
Ross Martin, Inside Carolina. How would you define Jake Lawler and Chris Collins' role in the defense? Seems like they're playing a little more of outside linebacker, and they obviously came in as defensive ends. How do they kind of fit into the defense?
Ross, they'll be both, because what we're going to do, last year at Army, Jay played over 50% of a four-man front. So we all talk about the three-man, the 3-4, the 3-5, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to play whatever we need to do to play to win the game. And we've got Hopper and Cater that aren't even out there yet that we feel like will be good players. I think there were 6 guys on defense that'll play a lot that weren't out there today. And then obviously Michael Carter wasn't out there today. And he's really good too. I mean, he's another one in space that, in fact, when I took the job, I asked Bubba, is that defensive end still here? And he said, no, sorry. I said, what about number 8? He was the other guy that really got my attention, and thank goodness he is here, and he'll be well soon. But to me, those guys, they've got to get stronger so they can play defensive end, and they've got to continue to learn to drop. But the joy of our defense is deception. And really, there's a lot of it on offense and defense right now, and that's what we need, especially until we continue to get stronger and better. But just those guys can rush the passer. Tamon Fox is our best pass rusher right now, but Dominic Ross can rush the passer, so he's another one that may play in that outside linebacker some, if we can get stronger at inside linebacker. But those guys really are hybrids, because they've got to be able to take on the tackle, take on the tight end in the running game. They've got to be able to move around and blitz to get to the quarterback, be able to show blitz and back out and be a dropper. But they also have to be great pass rushers.
How is Chaz handling the transition from quarterback to linebacker?
Chaz has done really well. He's 228 pounds. He can really run fast. He's gotten more physical as spring has progressed. He's really smart. He early in spring, he was too hesitant. It'll be really interesting to see him today. I just thought standing out there behind it, I saw him show up some. And linebackers have to have instincts, and they have to be guys to go make plays on game day. And hopefully he did that some today.
Mack, Gregory Hall, Inside Carolina. How would you evaluate the quarterback's decision-making process today?
I thought it was good. You know, even the one intercept, there weren't many passes that were off by very much, and the one interception was probably a sack. I started to call it, but I let it go. And then I couldn't see it, but I think it hit Daz or somebody right in the chest and popped up. So I thought it was a dart. So I thought all the quarterbacks made good decisions. We need to do a better job of connecting on deep balls. And Patrice Renee did a good job on a couple of those in the end zone, and we've got to continue to grow at corner. But the ball game now has gotten to be a spread out game with so many 50-50 balls. You got to win those if you're going to win games. And I also thought Storm Duck showed up a lot today. He's been very impressive in spring. Not only when he picked the fumble up, most guys that fall on it. Here's a high school senior that picked it up and outran everybody to the end zone. He made a couple other plays during the scrimmage. So we think he's going to be really good.
You guys good? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all very much.
Coach.